Good evening, MMJHL fans, and welcome to the return of the MMJHL podcast here on G-Show Productions. I'm your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. This edition of the podcast, as always, is brought to you by Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Be sure to visit their store locations today in Winnipeg and Brandon, and check out their website at makecannonfasteners.shop. We're also brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years, and by Goaltenders, your goaltenders' personal video review service. MMJHL hockey is back, everybody, and that means MMJHL Game Day is back. We're not going to be showing any highlights in tonight's episode, but we just got done calling the Vicks win over the River East Royal Knights 7-4. It was a back and forth game in terms of how the score went. 3-0 for the Vicks, then 3-3, then 6-3, 6-4, 7 for the final. One of the newest players of the Victorias, well, their newest player from trade deadline, Davis Koga, number 12, had 2 assists tonight in his home debut with the St. Vital Junior Victorias. And joining me now is the man himself, number 12 in Davis Koga. We're going to get him mic'd up here, get the headset on, all that great stuff. Are we comfortable?
Yeah.
Are we comfortable? We're good. Great to meet you, man. It's awesome to have you on the show. Just from first off watching you, just seems like you're really confident with the puck. Is that what you bring to this St. Vital Junior Victorias team, is a sense of confidence, urgency with the puck?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm one of those guys that likes to play with the puck, likes to use both my line mates with me. That's one of my strong points in my game, is making plays in the offensive zone and trying to attack the net at all times.
You come to a St. Vital Junior Victorias team that started off the season really well, has gone through some struggles, but overall a group that has championship potential to make it to another finals. When you got the call or the notification, the notice that you were getting traded, a part of that three-way trade, what were your thoughts of coming here and ending up in St. Vital to finish your MM career?
Yeah, obviously, I know a couple guys over here before I got traded. Kaiser, the Andy boys, Netch and Roots, all really good guys. Guys that make somebody like me want to come over and play for them. And then last year, obviously, I was on the other side of a 7-game series against the Vicks. They're just one of those teams that they're never out of it. They're down 5-0 going into the third period. Okay, they're always one of those teams that can come back and make it a game.
Yeah, and I had heard actually that this is a place that you wanted to come, and I mean now actually being able to be a part of a team where, like you said, a lot of these boys were a part of the team that sent you and the Hawks home after the playoffs. Like now actually being here, what's it been like getting this experience firsthand playing with this group?
Yeah, it's been great. I really thank Jeff for bringing me over here. It was something that I wanted to do, and obviously they were kind of rolling at the end of the break there, beating St. James. So I thank him a lot, and Ty's been super great, getting me involved with the team and putting me in situations that a player like myself can succeed in. And yeah, it's been great. Boys have been great, welcoming me really well in the room, and yeah, it's been solid.
You're a 21-year-old in this league now, Davis. You're almost a point per game this season. Coming up on your last few months of playing regular season MMJHL hockey. So to be in a position like this now with St. Vital, where this team looks like they could be on the upswing again, talk about what you feel like you can bring as a 21-year-old to this year's Victoria squad to help them throughout the playoffs this year.
Yeah, last year, one of my close buddies, Ethan Lewis, he was a super good 21-year-old for us, and I'm kind of just following everything he's doing, working his ass off every practice, every game, and that's what I can bring, and hopefully come crunch time, we can get the thing done.
This team, even though they beat St. James to end off their 2023 portion of the schedule, lost back-to-back games last weekend. Coming away with the first win for yourself in a Vicks jersey, how nice did that feel to get the monkey off your back in that way tonight, being a part of that victory?
Yeah, it was great. Unfortunately, the first 2 games didn't go our way. Sunday, I thought we battled really well. Just couldn't get bounces. No puck luck around the net, but yeah, it felt good. All the boys carrying the room, and to see how much they cared to win that one, yeah, it was good.
This team plays against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club coming up this Sunday, an off day for the team tomorrow. A team that you're familiar with in the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, spending a short stint with them after getting traded from the Hawks to them earlier on this season. How huge of a matchup is this for yourself heading in, going up against guys you played against for sure?
Yeah, no, this is a good test for our group. They're right in the mix with us in the standings. They're just a little bit ahead of us. No, they got a really good group up there, and yeah, it'll be a good one. It was super great playing there, and I enjoyed all the boys, coaches, the staff. They're all super good to me, and yeah, it'll be a good one.
This Raiders Junior Hockey Club team, as you know, has had all the success against St. Vital this season, and a lot of success against this club in the past few years. Now that you've had a chance to play with this Raiders team and know what they can do, do you feel like that could be kind of an advantage that you can help bring to this junior hockey St. Vital team coming up this Sunday?
Yeah, for sure. Most of the things that they do are pretty similar to us, and I think at the end of the day, it's just about how much we compete, how much we play playoff style hockey game. I think when I played on the Raiders, playing against the Vicks, I think they were just, the first 10, 15 minutes, they were kind of asleep, and we took advantage of that. So I think showing up on time on Sunday is going to be huge for our team. The first 5 minutes, Ty really emphasizes on that, and I think if we own those first 5 minutes, I think we're going to have good success on Sunday.
Yeah, and the starts for this Vicks team, when they haven't been great, the result hasn't been great. When they've been good, like we've seen tonight, and in that game against St. James to end off 2023's portion of the schedule, good things can happen. Davis Koga, number 12, newest member of the St. James the St. Vital Junior Victorias. My apologies, joining this edition of the MMJHL podcast. Davis, great to have you on, man, and best of luck to you and the team heading forward this season.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. We'll send it to a quick little break here, folks, while we get Davis out of here, and I'll come back for some solo stuff here on MMJHL number 7, episode 7 of this podcast. Welcome back to episode 7 of the MMJHL podcast. We actually got one more guest joining us here on the show, number 19, and Anthony Jacob. Anthony, forward of the River East Royal Knights. Great to have you on the show, man. How have things been?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on the show, too.
Good. Great to have you. Well, of course, Anthony, this Royal Knights team coming away with another loss, 10 straight losses here during this stretch, but a team that battled back, down 3-0, tying in at 3 apiece, staying in the game really until the final moments of it. Talk about the result from tonight from this group, how the boys are feeling.
That was another loss, and it's been a bit of a tough stretch, but honestly, I thought the energy was a lot different from the boys. Like, the boys are fired up on the bench, the boys are fired up in the dressing room, and I think that's a big part of it, and that's how we're going to turn it around. And especially being down, like we were down 3-0 early, and we fought back with 3 goals in like a minute, and the boys are fired up about that, and I think we can just take that away from this game.
Yeah, you could really feel the energy coming, generating off of, the boys on the ice, feeling it here in the crowd as well. And I had spoken to Barry Bonney, his son Blake Bonney, of course, head coach of this team, saying the new guys coming in, they're hoping they can bring new energy, new blood to the team. Have you felt the early effects, even though this team still is on this long losing streak of that?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a little bit of younger blood coming in, and I feel like it's going to take a bit for our team to gel. Like lots of the other teams, they've had the same group together all season, but and so it's going to take us a while for us to gel. But I feel like a lot of good energy, and the boys were just really positive out there today.
For yourself, had a chance to watch you for the first time really in game tonight. A big body, someone that likes to get in on the offense, try to create chances, take the viewer into what type of player they can expect to see when they come out to watch Anthony Jacob.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to score a lot of goals. I only have a few in my career at the Knights, but we're going to work hard, try and throw some hits, and try and be a menace in the penalty kill.
Yeah, and speaking of, you got into the penalty box a few times tonight, but overall, really showing that you can be a physical presence out there. Is that when you're at your best, really, expanding on it at physical?
Yeah, for sure. That's when I feel like I play my best, and it's the brand of hockey I love to play.
So far this season, this team, last place at this point, looking to get back into the playoff picture. You had a chance to be on last year's team where there was a bunch of success. Comparing things to last year, is there anything that you feel like could be within this group from some of the returning players still here that could be a message that you could spread to the rest of the group to get back into things?
I think we just have to keep the positivity, and we kind of just got off to a rough start at the start of the year. A couple guys were injured, and it just kind of snowballed a bit into a couple losses, and we couldn't really turn it around. But I think we can definitely do it. We still have a group of good core guys here, and I feel like we can turn it around.
Going up against Charleswood this Sunday, one of the top teams in the league. This Royal Knights team could be playing with house money. Maybe they don't expect the most from you guys, but this is going to be a hard-spirited, fought game. You boys know very well from your side of
Charleswood is
things.
always one of our biggest rivals, and we know some boys there, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a good game.
Should be good. What's the expectation? Things going to get pretty chippy in this one coming up?
Yeah, I think so, and that's usually how it goes against Charleswood. Always been one of our biggest rivals.
Well, right on. Well, thanks for doing this, Anthony. Best of luck to you and the team heading into the latter half of this season as things come to an end, and hoping to see maybe the Royal Knights start to make some noise and get back into the playoff picture.
Yeah, we hope so. Thank you.
Anthony Jacob, we're going to let him go here. We're going to send it to our promo screen, and I'll be back myself, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth, for some final stuff here, a league report on MMJHL number 7. And welcome back, everybody, to episode 7 of the MMJHL podcast. I was just joined by Anthony Jacob and Davis Koga. Apologies for sounding unprepared on the Anthony Jacob interview. Didn't know I was interviewing him heading into this one. I just told River East to send me a guy, and they sent me one, so thank you to Barry, Bonnie, and the rest of the crew for that. But yeah, it's great to hear that, you know, a player that's still there, that's been there for the last few years, still has positive vibes of things that can potentially turn around for this River East Royal Knights team. But it is going to be tough at this point. They're now 6-20-3 on the season, and when we take a look at the standings, at the rest of the playoff picture, they are now 9 points behind Stonewall. They were also heading into tonight with 3 more games played, 15 points for them. It's been a mess for them this year. 80 goals for, 132 goals against. And, you know, it's great to hear that they're so positive and that they feel like things can turn around, but we're getting down to, you know, more than the halfway point of the year. They've traded away big-time players. They're leading point getters in Nielsen and Sobey, as well as trading away a guy like Aiden Haworth before the trade deadline. 3 21-year-olds, a good defenseman in Ethan Johnson, and getting guys that will probably help them in the future, but they do get, you know, worse as a team on paper. The big thing is, though, spirit-wise, and just the change in the dressing room has been huge in that way, and it's a more spirited group. It's just they're in such a tough position now, trading away key players, too. It's going to take a miraculous push, I feel like, for this team to get back into things. But speaking of the moves at trade deadline, we're going to be writing a bunch of articles on everything that's happened. Payson Butler is now a St. James Junior Canuck, a player that was top 3 on the points on the St. Vital Junior Victorias. So that's a huge add for them. They also go out and add Chase Sobey. The big things that St. James had to give up was Krekowitz in that deal, in that 3-way deal to the Raiders Junior Hockey Club when they got Koga in return. They also gave up players like Kai Smith in deals too. Younger players. Krekowitz was a rookie player, and St. James, they get better. They are the clear favorites to win it all at this point in the MMJHL if they weren't already, adding Butler and Sobey. And this is a team that started off 2024 well on a 2-game win streak. They're first place in the league still, 23 wins, 4 losses, 1 overtime loss in there as well. Or I guess a shootout loss is how it's marked. They got a 12-point lead for first on the St. Boniface Riels, who also got better during the deadline, going out and adding Aaron Nielsen and Ashton Haworth from the from the River East Royal Knights. And adding to a team that needed a bit of a boost of offense in St. Boniface, a team that's already been really good defensively. They go out and add Aiden Haworth, who had a .915 save percentage around there last year. That's huge for them. They're 17-10-0-1 on a 1-game winning streak heading into tomorrow and Sunday's action in the league. The Pembina Valley Twisters, they didn't add anything at the trade deadline. They did get a goaltender from the MJHL, which we'll have updates about that coming up later on in this episode in terms of who that is. Charleswood, they're 16-11, 0-1. Currently right now, 1 point behind the Twisters for third place in the league. St. Vital, they're 13-11-4 now. They're at 30 points, 4 games behind, or 4 points behind Charleswood. Raiders Junior Hockey Club coming in at 6th place. They are 1 point behind the Victorias now, with a huge game coming up on Sunday, putting that into account. The Transcone Railer Express and Twins, they round out the rest of the playoff picture, and the Twins only 1 point up on Stonewall at this point in this season. When taking a look at that, Stonewall is at 24 points, River East at 15 points, of course, and for this St. Vital Junior Victorias team, they'll be in action, of course, Sunday to take on the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. In terms of what's coming up tomorrow in the MMJHL for the schedule, what's going to be on tap. There's going to be 4 games on the schedule. It's going to be Charleswood going up against the Fort Garry Twins, the St. James Junior Canucks going up against the St. Boniface Riels, the Raiders Junior Hockey Club taking on the Twisters, and the Stonewall Jets taking on the Railer Express, Transcona Railer Express, that is. All times of those games can be found on MMJHL.ca. And then Sunday, it's going to be a full slate of games. All 10 teams will be in action in the league, starting with the Twisters taking on the Railer Express at 2 p.m. The Raiders hosting the Victorias at Seven Oaks at 3 p.m. in an afternoon matinee, or in the matinee matchup. The Riels at home to take on the Jets at 3 p.m. on Sunday. The Twins taking on the top-seeded St. James Junior Canucks at 6:30 p.m. at Century Arena, and the River East Royal Knights taking on the Charleswood Hawks at Terry Sopchak Arena at 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. Like I said, all the games, the full schedule can be seen on MMJHL.ca, and a lot of great action coming up this weekend in the MMJHL. We are going to throw it to one last transition here, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'll be back for the final words here for Episode 7 of the MMJHL podcast here on G-Show Productions. Stick with us. Well, you made it to the end of the MMJHL podcast for Episode 7. Keeping this one shorter, folks. Was great to have 2 guests on, 2 players that played in the game we covered today, and Anthony Jacob, forward from the River East Royal Knights, as well as Davis Koga, new member, new addition of the St. Vital Junior Victorias at trade deadline. Trade deadline is now passed in the MMJHL. We're going to be writing a bunch of stories and also covering it in our blog next week of all the trades that went down on gshow.ca. Be sure to check us out there, as well as check us out there for our upcoming game, MMJHL Game Day number 5, coming next week, as I believe it will be the Transcona Railer Express that will be coming here to face off against the St. Vital Junior Victorias. The last game those 2 teams played got pretty darn chippy at Golden Arena at East End, so should be another great one on tap. Lots of moves happened at trade deadline. River East was the busiest team in terms of getting pieces for the future. They also dished out Kai Smith to the Charleswood Hawks, trading for another younger player. So they were definitely the most active, I'd say. St. James, they were the big winners during this trade deadline. St. Vital, they gave away one of their best players, but got a pretty impactful one back in Davis Koga. And St. Boniface also really good that they, in terms of the moves that they made at trade deadline, making out really well by getting in Aaron Nielsen and Aiden Allworth, 2 21-year-olds, to their team for their playoff push as well. The full schedule can be seen on MMJHL.ca. Leading point race is tight right now in terms of singular players in the league, in terms of who's leading in points, goals, assists, whatnot. We'll get to that to end off the show. Tyrone Willing coming in this weekend with the 1-point lead at 53 points to lead the league in points over Ryland Hugan of the Charleswood Hawks. Brady Whiteley is the leading defenseman in terms of scoring in the MMJHL as well. And in terms of goal scoring leader, Ryland Hugan with a bigger lead on Willen in that category at 32 goals compared to Willen's 25. Last but not least, talking about goaltending statistics heading into this weekend, the Wins leader is still the man, Noah Gilbert, at 2 losses now in the season, 15-2 with a .922 save percentage. In second place is Logan Enns, and in terms of the goaltender that this team went out and added in Pembina Valley, just to give you guys some context into who he is, who picked up his first career win over the weekend in this league. It's Owen Larocque coming from the MJHL. Don't quote me on it. I want to say the Verdun Oil Capitals, but I could be wrong. He has come from the MMJHL, though. But, yeah, the teams who lost last week looking to get back in the win column. St. Vital, one of those teams tonight at St. Vital Centennial Arena. Thank you to them for having us. Thank you to you for watching and tuning in to this edition of the MMJHL podcast for episode 7. It'll be interesting to see who gets back into the win column, who can stay in the win column and build up the streak, who's going to continue to lose. Who will it be? We'll have to wait and find out and see after this weekend ends. We'll be live for the MMJHL podcast for episode 8 next Thursday before the victorious face-off against the Transcon Railer Express. Thank you to Terrico as well as Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools and Goaltenders for sponsoring this edition of the show. Thank you to Davis Kogan as well as Anthony Jacob for coming on as the guest in this one once again. And thank you to Abby Wall for helping me with the camera and all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Graham the G-Show Forsyth giving you the salute. Peacing out and saying so long, everybody. Until next Thursday night for MMJHL podcast number 8. See you then.